So last week I stood in this empty, barren spot that a Wellesley family used to call home until a fire swept it all away. It was really an eerie moment. You stand there and you imagine the memories that were made. You can hear the echoes of the laughter from the kids. But the people who lost that home made me see beyond that hole in the ground. They showed me how an entire community of family and friends and strangers are keeping that home and the people who lived in it very much alive. In tonight's Real People, Real Stories, a familiar face to our Fox viewers, that home belonged to our reporter and our friend, Ted Daniel.
It's been said joy and gratitude go hand in hand. We're not grateful because we're happy. Rather, we're happy because we're grateful. I never heard that quote until the man who owns the house you're watching burn down shared it with me. And that tells you everything you need to know about him and his family.
I was right outside. It was myself and my neighbor. At the time, my son and his 3 kids. There was a tent outside, and the kids were just running back and forth.
Yeah.
Yes. And I went to my front door, which was right about here. I opened it, and when I opened it, it is already just completely filled with black smoke.
It's the Daniel family. Ted is a friend and a colleague, but this story isn't about Ted or the fact that he works here at Fox 25 or his wife Katya or their beautiful children or the fire. This is a story about bracelets, sneakers, shelter, neckties, and amazing neighbors.
Tell me all the things, you guys, that people did for you after the fire. You guys were here playing, right?
These people let us stay in their house.
They did?
Yes. My mom and dad were finding a rental.
And what else?
And a lot of other people donated stuff like clothes.
Like what?
Like clothes and other toys and stuff.
And how does it make you feel to know that people did all of that?
Good. Happy, good.
You guys are wonderful.
Their toys gone, their treasured blankets that they call me's destroyed, their bedrooms up in smoke. So how can it be that when you look into Ellen Andy's eyes at just 5 and 8 years old, you see gratitude, then you turn to their parents and you get your answer?
You know, you and I have covered fires for way too many years, and I guess we've never seen this side of it. I've never really seen this side of it. Have you?
Yeah, I mean, usually part of our job is we go in and we go out. And when you see people who are affected, obviously you're human. You feel for them. You have to do your job, but you got to be human too and feel for them. But no, it's a totally weird experience to be immersed in it like this. But you also see there's so much good out there.
We'll get to the good in a second, but listen when I asked Ted what it was like losing all the material things in his home. He turned his answer to the little girl who was in the house with his daughter when the fire started, and he thought that girl was still inside.
Did she know enough to come out?
Yes, she ran out of the house. And I didn't know that. And I watched my neighbor with his daughter.
It's okay.
And I watched my neighbor with his daughter, and I could tell that, you know, he was really, really emotional. And I didn't understand at first that she had been in the house. And she's like, you know, like, I consider her like my daughter as well.
That got Ted. This one got me when I asked what was the hardest thing to lose.
My mom passed a few years back, and there was stuff that she gave us, including like some of the books that she used to read to me. With her writing in it, and those are the same books. Like This Little House is one of them.
Yeah, This Little House, The Train That Could. Like
yeah, those are the same books that I would read these kids, and I would always say, you know, hey, your grandma used to read this to me. This is her handwriting in there. So that's the kind of stuff where I definitely. It would pop into my mind.
Baby.
All right, now the good. Actually, it's great. Tyler, Connor, Parker, Spencer, they didn't know Ted. They didn't know his family, and it didn't matter. They sold those rainbow loom bracelets and sent all the money raised in a card to the Daniels.
And what was one of the really cool things about the card that he sent is like we made bracelets and we sold a lot. And it was like a little kid.
It was $80. Probably
Yeah,
$1.
So they gave you guys the money.
They sent us in the next to the card was $80 in cash, and I was like, you know, it just blew me away.
The Akinol family, friends, next door neighbors, lifesavers, took the whole family in.
Aginals are our dear friends. We've been, living next to each other for 7 years almost, and through thick and thin, and you know that was pretty thin on August 16th when they took us in.
Ties are part of the job for Ted, and the Talma family knew that. So they organized this tie drive. Every tie had a handwritten note from people who donated.
I left the notes on the ties, so whenever I wear a tie on TV, I text the person and say, hey, wearing your tie tonight.
From ties to sneakers to the kids' blankets, as we said, they call me's.
We recovered one, but it was nasty and, you know, dirty and smelly, and a friend of mine took it and tried to get it cleaned, and they couldn't do it. I mean, it just was all, you know, just continued to have the smell. And then she found it on eBay. That blanket was like 7 years old, so she found exact one on eBay.
Beautiful.
But I had no shoes when I walked out of the house. So this is like on a Friday before I was actually working that day. Supposed to work in the afternoon, and I was in like summer shorts and a t-shirt, no shoes. So I'm walking around like as my house is running, I had no shoes on, and PJ's like, here you go, man, here's some shoes. And I never gave them back to him, and I still wear them.
You still have them.
I still have them.
Maybe it's time to get out and get some sneakers for this guy.
He doesn't even want them back.
You know, Ted, it feels like when you came back and we were all so devastated for you. But it was funny. It was like you were trying to make us feel better about it.
Well, work was great too. Another reason I feel lucky is, you know, where I work and the people that I work with. A lot of us have been together a pretty long time, and we're pretty close. I mean, like, what you see
it's
is
genuine.
real. It's
yep.
like we're friends, and it's like I was wrapped up here, I was wrapped up the same way at work. And I don't think I've ever fully expressed to everyone at work how much, you know, that was important to me. It meant a lot to me, and it was great. I mean, the time that they gave me, the gift cards and things that they gave us, I mean, it was just amazing. It was just cool.
We could all learn from how your tragedy and how you handled it with class and with perspective.
I think
It's
it was
because
made
of the other
easier by
people.
the people who have
Yeah.
helped us through it, and you know, we will not forget that. I feel like that's something that will be with us for a long time.
That was so nice.
All right, one more thing. Sorry, I'm just a little choked up. One more thing Ted doesn't know I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it. We collected money here at Fox, and we bought gift cards galore for Ted and his family. And Ted didn't tell us, but we later learned that instead of taking them, he gave them to a beautiful young single mother who works here. Her name is Nicole Gordon, and she's going through cancer treatment. Paying it forward, Ted. Pretty nice. By the way, a look back at my Real People, Real Stories of the Year, Christmas Day. I hope you can join us at 5 o'clock.